Hi, I'm Jim, W6LG, your YouTube Elmer for Ham Radio Basics. Quick update. We did move from Wolf Mountain to Rockland, California. So from about a 6.5 acre site down to about a 6,000 square foot site. So from 300,000 square foot lot to about 6,000 square feet. And having phased arrays, phased Yagis is a thing of the past. However, I think I can do some neat stuff here. This is more typical of what ham would be facing in a residential area, and that's good. So I'll be able to experiment with antennas and show you what works and what doesn't work. We'll talk more about that right after this break.
Whiskey 6 Lima calling CQ low CQ. CQ calling CQ low CQ. Whiskey 6 Lima Golf. Whiskey 6 Lima Golf.
Okay, so we're here at the new house, and it's a big change. The house is smaller. The backyard is really tiny. From the back wall of the house to the fence line, which I believe to be the property line, is 15 feet. So in theory, I'd have a turning radius on an antenna of about 15 feet. However, behind the house is a kind of a wash. There's a channel in the very bottom of this kind of deep cut. And I don't think anybody walks on this side of the channel. It looks like there's a lot of walking that goes on a pathway even on the other side, but not this side. So I'm thinking I can encroach, go over the fence a bit with an antenna. We'll talk about that in subsequent episodes, but looking at things like loop antennas of various configurations, high Q loop. KP4MD suggested a loop around the property and sent me a diagram of what she'd recommend I do. And it looks like a great idea. There's one hex beam in the area, and that has a fairly tight turning radius. Antenna restrictions here are 30 feet max, which gives you a pretty high takeoff angle at 20 meters. So, and at 40 meters, really high. So 40-meter Yagis out of the question. 20-meter Yagis, yeah, it's going to be a bit iffy. Might start out with a dipole. Of the three towers, I did keep the rotating tubular tower, the MA40. So I'd have to restrict its height to 30 feet to keep the city happy. And there are people on the street who work for the city. Anyway, and they've seen the license plate, so they figured out who I am, and some have already done some research on YouTube. In any case, it's sort of bad news, good news. The bad news is it's a really tiny lot. The good news is it's more typical of what the average guy has to deal with. And what are my solutions? And basically, I'm starting from square one. I'm going to be building the shack in the garage. It'll be a walled-off portion of the garage, partitioned off. With sound-resistant walls as best I can do, because the garage is really close to the sidewalk. And how do I get feed line from there to the backyard? How do I get electricity into the radio room? I'd like to have a 240-volt circuit for an amplifier. I kept all of the equipment. But probably some of it's going to have to be sold off. There's not going to be the room to put all the equipment into play that I did in the past. Anyway, it should be interesting. It's really starting all over again. The site has some interesting negatives. To the southwest, there is a slight hill. Southwest for me would be towards Australia, New Zealand. Looks like shooting down the wash is towards JA, Japan, Asia. Europe is through the house, literally through the structure. Which, if you can believe this house has an intercom. I have no idea why. It was built in 1991. It's got an intercom. In checking the neighbors' houses at their front doors as I walked around, they all have intercoms, which is nothing more than a long wire antenna connected to an audio amplifier. So I don't know how many of those things are still on, but it could be it could be a dilemma. Most folks around here don't have landlines anymore, so that's not a problem. Most everybody has DirecTV or something called Wave, or another. There is a cable TV in the ground. There is not fiber optics, it's copper wire, but there is, the fiber is relatively close, so the speeds are halfway decent. That's it for right now. I'm in the master bedroom. I've got basically like a door set up with a couple of file cabinets, and that's my countertop. There's no station at this point. The garage is almost ready for that, so I'm getting close. I'm hoping this weekend that I get some help and frame up a wall or two in the garage for the ham radio station. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have not subscribed, please do so. We're at about 22,000 subscribers and really growing pretty quickly, even though I haven't done a lot of videos. And the reason for the lack of activity is just been too busy. But once things settle down, I plan to do a lot of videos. As I pack things, I set them aside for videos that I thought would be interesting. Anyway, stay tuned. See you the next time. I'm Jim, W6LG, or YouTube Elmer 73.